this is an iHeart podcast.
It's finally happened. Your kid could be part of the first generation to never suffer the rough touch of toilet paper on their tender tush. All thanks to new flushable Little Dude wipes, available in bubble bum scent or fragrance-free. Because we know little butts can make a big mess, but with Little Dude wipes, you can keep your kid's keister clean without the burn and debris toilet paper can leave behind on their behinds. Experience the confident clean of Little Dude wipes, available exclusively at Walmart nationwide.
This is Jana Kramer from Wind Down with Jana Kramer. When we were deciding on our appliances for the house, Samsung was at the top of our list. And I love my Samsung appliances, especially because they're so reliable. And with my busy schedule, having reliable appliances has been a game changer. It's no wonder Samsung is the #1 brand for customer satisfaction. That's why I'm excited to tell you all about Samsung's new line of smart appliances featuring their brand new bespoke AI laundry combo. This incredible magic machine washes and dries in one machine, one load, no transfers, no timers, no rewashing needed. New bespoke AI appliances. This is home living made simple. For more information, visit samsung.com/bespoke.
68-minute cycle based on 27-inch combos, based on using a super speed cycle only with a 10-pound DOE load, cotton 50% plus polyester 50%. Individual results may vary based on actual load content.
Ahoy! For Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about maritime madams. Whether through scientific study, aquatic exploration, or legendary prowess, these women harness the power of the bodies of water that cover our Earth. A woman walks on the beach. She notices a claw poking out of the sand. She leans down and with her thumb and index finger gently picks up a small crab shell. She brushes off some sand and tenderly places it in a sample jar. This woman was never intimidated by pinching crustaceans. Instead, she spent her life peeling back their hard shells to become an expert on the species. Please welcome Mary Jane Rathbun. Mary Jane Rathbun was born in Buffalo, New York in 1860. She was the youngest of 5 siblings, and her mother died when Mary Jane was just a year old. Mary Jane grew up to be a small woman, standing just 4.5 feet tall. In 1881, 3 years after Mary Jane graduated from school, her brother, Richard, asked her to join him out in Cape Cod. The two gathered their things, traveled through the northern woods of New York, across Massachusetts, and all the way down to the hook of Cape Cod. The brother and sister landed in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, spitting distance from Martha's Vineyard. When they arrived, the sound of the ocean was inescapable. The air was salty. Out at sea, fishermen hoisted up nets filled with fish, lobsters, crab, and shrimp. This was the first time sand got on Mary Jane's shoes, as she stood out and looked at the vast gray Atlantic. But there was work to be done. Her brother was a scientific assistant for the U.S. Commission of Fish and Fisheries. He worked mainly with invertebrate marine fauna. Mary Jane, with plenty of time on her hands, decided to assist her brother. Her days were spent arched over a table, labeling, identifying, recording, and itemizing vast numbers of crustaceans dredged up from the ocean. One in particular took her heart, the crab. Mary Jane was so excellent at cataloging, she was promoted to a clerkship and given a small salary. The National Museum in Washington, D.C. caught wind of this peculiar woman carefully organizing crustaceans up in Cape Cod. Before she knew it, Mary Jane moved again, this time down to the nation's capital. She set to work at the National Museum's Department of Marine Invertebrates. She worked as a copyist, focused on cataloging and record-keeping. The museum didn't have budget for any permanent assistance, so Mary Jane's days were spent in silence and solitude, hearing nothing more than the sound of her pen pushing against paper. A desk full of catalogs, sketches, publications, illustrations, boxes of samples, and books kept her company. In front of her lay her notebook where she diligently took notes. She organized samples into collections, writing catalogs and filling pages with diagnostic keys, figures, and detailed descriptions of the specimens she researched. When she wasn't writing papers, she was corresponding with other carcinologists, confirming, debating, or hypothesizing in long letters about crabs. Mary Jane had plenty to write about, given that specimens and fossils from all over the world arrived at the museum's doorsteps. Mary Jane showcased new species and genus of crabs, featuring specimens from as far south as the Galapagos in Africa, as far west as Japan, Hawaii, and the Maldives. But fortunately, the world didn't just come to her in boxes and jars. Mary Jane traveled to Europe to examine specimens in other museums. In 1896, she worked in Copenhagen, Berlin, Geneva, Paris, and London. By 1907, Mary Jane was promoted to assistant curator. Just 7 years later, she was put in a bind. The Smithsonian needed to allocate her salary towards another position, so Mary Jane graciously resigned. But she was so dedicated to her work that she continued to volunteer at the museum, now living off a small inheritance her father had left her. She even continued to mentor her successor at the Smithsonian. Her accomplishments did not go unrecognized by the academic community. She received an honorary master's degree in 1916 and a doctoral degree in 1917. She already had 80 papers under her belt, but after retiring, had enough information ready to write 4 monographs. Over the next 30 years, she categorized dozens of new families, genera, species, and subspecies. When she wasn't working on her books, she was working on scientific papers. She still visited Woods Hole and traveled up the coast of Maine on field excursions. She sometimes traveled with an illustrator who captured her subjects' colors. It was only during the First World War that she put down her magnifying glasses and pens. By the time of her death, Mary Jane Rathbun was one of the world's few leading experts on crustacean taxonomy. Ecologists still rely on her exceptional classification and research to this day. Over her decades-long career, she published more than 150 articles and 4 monographic handbooks, all while identifying more than 1,000 species, 63 genera, and 5 higher categories of crustaceans. Mary Jane died on April 14, 1943. She was 83 years old. After her death, she donated $10,000 to the Smithsonian to put towards decapod research. All month, we're talking about maritime madams. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. As always, we'll be taking a break for the weekend. Talk to you on Monday.
Every business has an ambition. PayPal Open is the platform designed to help you grow into yours. With business loans so you can expand and access to hundreds of millions of PayPal customers worldwide. And your customers can pay all the ways they want with PayPal, Venmo, Pay Later, and all major cards, so you can focus on scaling up. When it's time to get growing, there's one platform for all business. PayPal Open. Grow today at paypalopen.com. Loans subject to approval in available locations.
It's finally happened. Your kid could be part of the first generation to never suffer the rough touch of toilet paper on their tender tush. All thanks to new flushable Little Dude wipes, available in bubble bum scent or fragrance-free. Because we know little butts can make a big mess, but with Little Dude wipes, you can keep your kid's keister clean without the burn and debris toilet paper can leave behind on their behinds. Experience the confident clean of Little Dude wipes, available exclusively at Walmart nationwide.
This is an iHeart podcast.